boy to score a century. During that phase, what was on your mind? How much effort did you put to break the partnership?
Yeah, obviously he batted unbelievably well. Fantastic for him to have such an opportunity on the world stage and also to perform on the world stage. It was fantastic for him. He hit the ball really well today, but obviously we did keep the captain under a little bit of pressure, which was good. But you know, sometimes when a player is going really well, you got to give him credit for the good day he's had.
Hi, GP. Got to ask about the switch, which is again the blockbuster of the day. So, can you just talk us about whether it's an instinct thing? Obviously, you do train at the nets as well. So, can you just talk us about the thought process behind today's shot?
Yeah, it's definitely, as I've mentioned in past interviews, it's very much a specific place and time shot. Obviously, short side, leg side, and the reason for switching rather than staying left-handed to start was to hopefully keep that gap out cow corner free. So obviously the opportunity came to use it today, and sometimes you've actually still got to bring it out and have the courage to bring it out in a game, which can be sometimes hard. But I guess if you practice it, you got to pull it out.
And can you just talk us about working through Rachin in that partnership? He had a pretty rough build up to the World Cup. He was ill in Mumbai and then didn't start too well here. So can you just talk us about working with Rachin and sort of pushing New Zealand ahead in the chase?
Yeah, he's a fantastic cricketer. And it's one of those things where class is permanent and form is temporary. So it was only a matter of time before he was going to come right again. And the beauty of this team is that selection is given for over a long period of time. And we trust our players, and we have a great group of guys where we're giving to something bigger than ourselves. And things like today come, I guess, to the forefront of the mind where the trust has been built and we know that he's going to perform over periods of time. So for him to go out there and I guess have a little bit of success, but to understand that his process is doing the right thing and it's coming right, which is great. But also he works incredibly hard off the field. It's pretty hard for things not to come right when you work so hard.
Glenn, just taking forward from the first question about the switch hit, how much of it the conditions matter when you decide to play a switch hit? Because if the ball is sort of stopping and coming, does it make it a lot more harder? Or on pitches like this where the ball is coming, it's you need a one whole rhythm to play the shot?
Not necessarily for the way that I play it per se. For me, it's not supposed to be a one-trick pony option. The idea is that if the bowler bowls a good ball, or he slows it up, or bowls it wide, or wherever he decides to put it, that there's a bailout option, whether that's hitting it through the leg side for one, or whether he puts it in the slot and I send it out of the ground. It's being able to have that option to go both sides and understand that it's just not a one hitting zone shot. So if the pitch is a little bit slower, then it's still watching the ball and playing it where it needs to be hit, whether that's down the ground, over the leg side, over the offside.
Given the format, in your group you had only one tough opponent which you had lost. Other three you have comfortably won. So now you will be tested really in the next stage of the tournament. So do you think you are well prepared?
One tough game. I feel like Afghanistan qualifies pretty high now. We always get them, and they've knocked a few teams out of the competition in the past. So I'm going to say 2 tough games. The preparation has been fantastic. Obviously, we had a good lead up with India and learnt a lot over there about the conditions. And we've had a couple of conditions that have changed over here as well, which is fantastic. We've had to be adaptable, and credit to the teams that we've played. They've also obviously batted very well on all occasions, which is great, and it's put us under a bit of pressure. But I think that's really good for us going forward into the next Super 8 phase, understanding that Sri Lanka is going to be obviously different again. And I guess that part of the tournament starts coming down to who's going to keep their calm the most, and I guess who can not necessarily play the long game per se, because it's obviously T20 cricket, but who can hold their nerve for the longest, especially if pitches start deteriorating.
Yeah, just one sub-question. You have made a good valid point of Sri Lankan condition. I just landed from the Sri Lanka, Colombo and Kandy. So it's not going to be a belter there. Spinners will dominate. So that point will really matter to your composition.
Yeah, absolutely. We did have a good experience over here a couple of years, or a year or so back, playing Sri Lanka when they were really playing well at home. They were producing pitches that were turning pretty much sideways, and I guess being able to have some of that experience, I don't think they're necessarily going to turn to that extent, but understanding what our options are, how we attack the game, whether 160 is a good score or whether... Yeah. Obviously, you've got places like Pallekele and Dambulla. Are we playing in Dambulla at all? No. Sorry. Colombo, where if the pitch is good, 200 is easily gettable. Obviously, the grounds are a lot bigger as well, so understanding that twos and threes are going to be more crucial than just necessarily fours and sixes as well.
Glenn, a lot of these associate nation players, even coaches for that matter, have said that they've not had much exposure to the top teams, you for that matter. So, for you as an individual, do you want to play more of these associate nations going forward in the year or in the lead up to tournaments? Is that something that you'd want to do?
Yeah, actually, I think it would be fantastic. For me personally, they're the most nerve-wracking games because you're playing guys that you haven't seen before. They on their given day they're all quality as well. But then there's also the stigma that you should beat them, and that becomes quite tough, especially on the world stage where people tighten up, and we see upsets in World Cups all the time, and that's fantastic for the associate nations to have that experience, to understand and get a taste of what it's like at the tippy top level. But they produce some really good cricketers on their day. They're fantastic, and they match up with everybody out there. So, playing more associate nations would be fantastic, and they can't grow without that exposure, I suppose, as well.
GB, few of your players have had stints in the Lanka Premier League and sort of a bit of intel from that conditions. Would that be helpful going into the Super 8 stage?
I wish, but the Lanka League was fast, bouncy, quick, 200, played 200 pretty much every game. So I think actually the international stuff that we played, where they played on trickier wickets, was probably a little bit more valuable. But understanding that the outfields are incredibly fast, sometimes it's pretty tough to catch in the lights out there as well. So to be able to hopefully get a couple of trainings under lights would be fantastic. But I guess it's understanding that gaps and hitting the gaps hard, especially with how fast the outfields are over there, with how rock hard the outfield is, that definitely comes into play. So, and the boys have had a few opportunities over there as well, which is fantastic.
Glenn here. How was Daryl as skipper today? And Santner is okay? He's doing good?
Yeah. I think he'll be avoiding the burgers for the next couple of days. Daryl's been fantastic. He had a good opportunity to lead us when Beast had to go off in the one days as well against India, and he takes to it like a duck to water, which is fantastic, and the boys follow him really well. But obviously he leads by example as well with the way he keeps the energy up in the field. His plans, his tactics are very good. But obviously as a bowling unit as well, you're responsible for the ball that you let go, and we've got a lot of guys who understand what they're doing, what their roles are, and at the end of the day, the captain's job, regardless of who it is, should hopefully be made easier by the guys understanding what they need to do. But yeah, he's fantastic.
That's fine.